Welcome to the farm today, guys. It's a wonderful day in North Carolina, and I have a blacksmithing project to work on. As a farmer, you need to know many things, and doing some metal work is just another part of the job. So we're going to go over some of the intro to blacksmithing things today. We're going to go over some of our tools that we're going to use, and we're going to go over how to start a coal forge fire. The first thing I want to say when you're running a coal forge is make sure you set time for your project. It takes a half hour to get your fire up to temperature, and then it takes another hour to get your forge back down to temperature when you're finished. So if you only have an hour, the last thing you want to do is put out your fire and run away from it and end up starting a forest fire. So please be cognizant of your time if you want to do something like a blacksmithing project. I want to give a shout out to Ann and Rob Gumpert and Michael for helping me purchase and getting me some equipment, some nice gloves, and a nice smock. It's really helping me on my project, so thank you guys for helping me with that. So right now we're going to go over our tools, and then we're going to start our fire, and I'm going to work on a project. So thanks, guys. Our equipment that we're going to be using today, and for most normal blacksmith projects, is first, you're going to need a fuel source. So I'm using coal. You can pick this up at a blacksmith supply or a well-supplied hardware store. The forge, the anvil, which is your working surface, a means to get your fire going. I can accomplish most of my projects with a normal ball peen hammer and a 3-pound hammer. An angle grinder saves you time for grinding and cutting. You don't need an angle grinder, but it does help. If you don't have an angle grinder, these are widgets. They're specialized tools that fit into your anvil to make it a multi-purpose tool. So this is a cutoff, so that's a sharp edge that you could put a hot piece of metal and cut it in half. This is a fork that's going to help me twist and bend metal. And then you have many other widgets that help you shape and move what you want for your metal surfaces. You also want things to hold down your items when you're working on them. I use some vice grips. You can also go more traditional with some tongs. And you can find these at flea markets, garage sales, old barns. Just have to keep an eye out when people are trying to get rid of something like this. Your gloves are very important. You're working in a very hot environment. And then some steel stock as well, some iron. This is just wrought iron. This is 1/2-inch square stock. And I can use this and shape this for many of my projects. You can weld this up as well. So that is most of the working tools that we're going to need. There's a lot of specialized hammers, blacksmithing hammers, and other things that do specific jobs, but this will get you through most of your normal projects. You also kind of want a wire brush or something that you can clean metal as it's coming off of the forge, because when metal is in the forge, it gets oxidized, and you want to clean off that oxidation to have a nice surface for when you're working. So thank you. We're going to move to our fire now. Okay, we're in our forge now. Our forge is our oven that we heat our metal in. It is your most important tool you have. You need an air source. I converted my forge from a hand bellow system into an automatic electric oxygen feeder, just with an electric drill. You can do it with a blower motor, anything that you can get an airflow from, you can do. So right now we have green coal in our forge. That's brand new coal with a lot of impurities in it still. It's very heavy. And once you start your fire, that's going to burn dirty, and then it coats over and you get some nice light material. If you can hear that, almost sounds like glass. And this will burn much hotter and get you to the temperature you'd like. So you want to always coke over some coal at the end of your project so it makes your fire start easier next time. You want to take your paper and you form it into a little bowl ball that you have here, and you place that right down in the center. We're going to start a pine fire to start today because you need a small fire going to light the coal, because you can't just put coal right on top of the paper and get it going. It's much more difficult to light coal straight away. So I try to make a little fire with either charcoal, barbecue charcoal if I have it, or I just use some pine that I find around my yard here. Works very well. So I'm going to make a little fire to start, and so we will light that, and then when we get that, we're going to put a little airflow to it, get this nice and hot, and then I'm going to start piling some of the coked coal on top of it, and that will allow it to come to temperature. And then I'm going to put my oxygen on high, as hot as it goes. Cover this a little bit so the air will light everything up, and then we'll be up to temperature and we can start working on some metal. Also, you will get clinkers, which are the duds and the end product in your forge. You want to try to get rid of these because this will just take up space and it's going to absorb heat from you, and you're going to just not have as much efficiency in your forge. So thank you guys. I'm going to light this up and I'm going to take a video, and then I will do some time-lapse of the stuff I'm working on. So thanks for checking me out. Like and subscribe to Nathan Malte's Hobby Collector, and hope to see you again.